Doc here, and today we're going to take a look at this little beauty. This is the 6 amp VariCool, and it's available at smoketech.com, and they call this the Beast. I have the 6 amp VariCool, which SmokeTech calls the Beast, and I also have the 3 amp VariCool that I've had for quite a while now. And we're going to take a look at both of these, more on the 6 amp VariCool, but we'll do a little bit of comparisons. I'll tell you what I've done with the 6 amp VariCool versus the 3 amp VariCool. Both of these have 2 ohm Bogue cartomizers, just regular 2 ohm Bogue cartomizers in tanks with the same juice in it, which is SmokeTech's coffee. One just is more steep than the other one. That's the difference you're getting in the color there, and one is fresh. But same juice, same cartomizers, same power. I vape these at 4.3 volts on the 6 amp VariCool and 4.3 volts on the 3 VariCool. I also I wanted to use the same batteries, so I needed to have 2 pairs of identical batteries, and the only 14500s that I have were the genuine AW 14500 600 mAh batteries, so that in both of them you see they are the same batteries, fully charged, and I started at the same time. So 6 amp VariCool is the white, the 3 amp VariCool is the black. But I wanted to see, I started these, and the first time I vaped this, I started with the 6 amp VariCool, and I vaped for 7 hours and 10 minutes before I had to recharge. Just my normal vaping, which it pretty much doesn't leave my hand during that entire time period. I did the exact same thing with the 3 amp VariCool, and it lasted me 7 hours and 14 minutes. So the difference between the 3 amp and the 6 amp as far as how long it lasts was 4 minutes. The 3 amp VariCool, the batteries lasted 4 minutes more than the 6 amp with the same batteries. Then I went back and I went with, every time I would take one vape with the 6 amp, I would take one vape with 3 amp. So I did this all day long, and both of these ran out at the same time. I mean, there was literally no difference, one lasting longer than the other, and I went 1 for 1 all day long with both of these, starting with a full charge, both of them at the same time. And again, this was at 4.3 volts with the 2 ohm Bogue cartomizers. Both of these and the Beast have the switching regulator on it versus the linear regulator. So this is way more efficient. The switching regulator is basically runs cooler, your batteries run longer, and it just utilizes everything way more efficiently. It's the same switching regulator that's also in the 3 amp VariCool. This is the 6 amp, this is the 3 amp again. They have these in a few different styles too now. This one actually has a little red glow. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I'll put it on the big screen there. But it has a little red glow right there. This one has the little red LED button there. They have these in stealth. They have them in they're clear, different colors, things like that. So there's lots of different varieties. But I'll tell you what, this little box is a darn good box mod. Probably, as far as I'm concerned, it's the best out there. I'm not afraid to say it. The VariCool is the best box mod out there, variable voltage. It's really easy to change. It has a very nice potentiometer on here. It's a little bit different from others that I've seen, and it's marked with a green and a red mark. The green is 3.7, the red mark is 5 volts. So you kind of always know where you're at. You do a lot of things by taste anyway, but this gives you that starting point of where you're going to be at on your volts. It's just easy to change to what you want. Put the lid on, set it, forget it, and vape. This thing is also very durable, and the quality is very good. When you look at the Beast, you see the type of quality on this VariCool. These are handcrafted. These are tested to make sure that they are running the way they're supposed to be running. It has this big button and switch on it, of course. 510 sealed connector, the on and off switch, and the same goes for the 3 amp VariCool. The quality, the construction is excellent. Besides these 2 ohm Bow cartomizers, I have these 3 ohm Bow cartomizers and a couple of voltage readers. So we'll put the round one on the Beast and the square one on the 3 amp VariCool. These 3 amp Bow cartomizers both have coffee in them. 4.9 volts on the 3 amp VariCool under load, and 4.9 volts on the Beast, the 6 amp VariCool under load. Nice. Nice. 4.9 volts, 3 ohm Bow cartomizers. I can't really tell the difference at all. They're both performing the same. Let's find out. So 5 volts when it's not under load. .9. So let's kick these up a little bit here. So 5.7 volts on the 3 amp and 5.7 volts on the 6 amp. Put the 3 ohm Bow cartomizers back on here. So under load, 5.6 volts on the Beast, 5.6 volts on the 3 amp. Nice. .1 volts on the Beast under load, 6 volts on the 3 amp under load. Six volts, 6.2. So there's the difference. They're both turned all the way up. Both of these are turned all the way up. 6.6 volts on the Beast and 6 volts on the 3 amp VariCool. So when these are both turned all the way up, you're getting 6.6 on the Beast and 6 flat on the 3 amp VariCool. These are turned all the way down now. So 3.26 on the 3 amp VariCool, 3.40 on the 6 amp VariCool The Beast. And so that's turned all the way, that's their first setting. It's as low as you can go with 3.4, 3.25. I also have a 1.5 dual coil cartomizer, which we'll put on the Beast. And remember, these have genuine AW 14500 600 mAh batteries in it. So there is 5 volts. 5 volts. We'll put the 1.5 dual coil cartomizer on there now. 4.8 under load. Nice. Really nice. Fantastic throw hit. Great flavor. Lots of vapor, of course. Again, you got a 1.5 dual coil cartomizer on there. So let's crank this up here. So there is 6.2 volts on the Beast. We'll put the 1.5 dual coil cartomizer back on. So under load, 5.9 volts under load. So 6.2 volts and then 5.9 under load. No burning taste, but the cartomizer itself is hot, of course. So we'll go to the 3 amp. So 6 volts on the 3 amp, VariCool. .9 under load. Let's check that again. 6 volts, 1.5 dual coil cartomizer, 6 volts under load. And again, that really heats up that cartomizer. Smoke Tech also, they sell these new E-Fest batteries, and then you can also use these AW Plus Power batteries. They're protected and they last a long time, and it doesn't matter whether you're using the Beast, the 6 amp or the 3 amp, they're both lasting pretty much the same. We thought that maybe the 6 amp VariCool, the Beast, would use the batteries up faster than the 3 amp, and it really doesn't. It's pretty much the same, give or take a few minutes. So, you know, it depends on your vaping habits, things like that. But really, I mean, if you want the Beast and you're worried about your batteries running out way faster than if you had the 3 amp, that's not really the case. It's I mean, by a few minutes, but that's about it. I mean, really, the batteries last just as long as they do in the 3 amp. There's just not that big of a noticeable difference. Both boxes, like I said, great construction, great potentiometer, markings at 3.7, 3.8, and 5 volts. It's better, you may as well just use the protected batteries and the batteries that are going to last you 12 hours, or, you know, at least 8 to 10 hours, depending on your vaping habits. You can vape pretty much anything with these. These work with adapters really nice, so you can vape your Ego accessories, you can vape dual coil cartomizers, you can vape all your atomizers. The only thing that I haven't tried personally is the 1.25 cartomizer, a 1.25 ohm cartomizer. Check out both of these, the Beast, the 6 amp VariCool, the 3 amp VariCool, smoketech.com. And as always, I appreciate you watching, and you stay on the vapor trail.